Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to first and foremost submit an article by Fareed Zakaria. I hope everyone gets to read it. We'll be circulating it to all members about the Trump plan to go after our university system and destroy the research that goes on at our universities and massive cuts. As Mr. Zakaria points out, this would decimate our economy, and I think every member of Congress needs to know. But, Madam Speaker, I also heard Representative John Kasich on television just before I came here talking about how the Democrats don't have a plan. They don't have a plan that they're going to utilize. Well, and I have great respect for John, but I want to say, oh yes, under Hakeem Jeffries, we do have a plan, especially as it relates to Social Security. Our colleagues on the other side do not have a plan, or the plan that they've proposed is to cut benefits to Social Security.
Welcome back to Right View Nation, the home of real patriots, real truth, and real American values. Smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video if you're tired of the lies coming out of Washington, D.C. Today, we're diving into a perfect example of why our country is being dragged down by career politicians who think they know better than we the people.
Madam Speaker, it may, I don't know if you realize how many Social Security recipients you have in your district, but there's over 170,000 of them, including 134,000 retirees, including 18,000 disabled workers, 8,000 widows, 3,000 spouses, 9,000 children. But, Madam Speaker, here's the most important thing, and most members of Congress don't realize this. Do you know how much money comes into your district monthly to those recipients? That's $318 million that Mr. Trump and Republican leadership want to cut. A 20% cut across the board to Social Security would decimate people all across the district, including Iowa and Connecticut and every other district. So we have a plan. Here's our plan. Social Security, and the American people, and especially the people in our audience today, ought to understand, hasn't been enhanced by Congress since 1971. Richard Nixon was president of the United States. There are more than 70 million Americans who rely on Social Security. Of those 70 million, over 30 million of them, this is the only benefit, retirement benefit, that they have. So, Madam Speaker, we want to make sure that there's an across-the-board increase. And under the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries, that's what you'll see, an across-the-board increase, a tax cut proposal for people who have to work out of necessity, but end up having to pay taxes on their Social Security. But we pay for it to make sure that it doesn't impact the trust fund. We also pay for the repeal of WEP and GPO, because that's vitally important as well. We also make sure that there's no longer a wait period for disability, where we see that so many people have died waiting to receive their disability payment. It's long overdue that the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and for children of this country, and more disability that goes out to veterans than it goes out through the VA, comes from Social Security. Congress needs to act. I would hope it would be bipartisan, but we can't even get a hearing, let alone pass a bill. What is there to be afraid of? Every constituent listening to this ought to demand of their member of Congress. If you disagree, you got a better plan. For God's sake, put it forward. But how much longer do the American people have to wait to receive the benefits that they paid for? This is An earned benefit. This is no entitlement like the other side calls it. People paid for it, and you can check it out right on your paycheck. It says FICA, Federal Insurance Contribution. Whose? Yours. You have paid for this benefit. Your government, your Congress has let you down. They have not addressed this since 1971. It's long overdue that we not only address this, but enhance this so that Americans get what they richly deserve, especially those in Iowa.
Does the gentleman yield? The gentleman yields.
Now, folks, I just watched a speech that made my blood boil. Congressman Larson got up there in Congress, throwing a tantrum because Social Security hasn't been enhanced since 1971. He's crying about how Republicans supposedly want to slash Social Security. Really, Congressman? Really? Let's talk about what's really happening. First of all, no conservative I know wants to destroy Social Security. What we want is to reform it. We want to make sure it's there for future generations, not run it into the ground with reckless spending just to score cheap political points. The left acts like money grows on trees. They forget, or they don't care, that Social Security is broke, folks. Insolvent. Heading for disaster if we don't act. Larson says Social Security hasn't been enhanced since Nixon. Well, maybe that's because the system was never supposed to be a massive government-run welfare program for every man, woman, and child. It was meant as a safety net, not a lifestyle. And now he wants bigger payouts, more taxes, more benefits, with no serious reform plan to fix the underlying math. That's insanity. The trust fund is expected to run dry in less than a decade. What's Larson's plan? Spend more. Hand out bigger checks. Tax hardworking Americans even harder to patch the holes. You know what they call that? Kicking the can down the road. Typical Washington thinking. And let's talk about this nonsense about cuts. Every time a Republican talks about making Social Security sustainable, the left screams, cuts. They're coming for grandma's check. It's fear-mongering, pure and simple. The truth is, real reforms mean adjusting the program, smartly and responsibly, so that seniors who paid and get what they deserve without bankrupting their grandchildren. You know what else really grinds my gears? Larson trying to blame Republicans for everything wrong in America while ignoring the fact that Democrats had control of the House, Senate, and White House, and they still did nothing to fix Social Security. Nothing. They were too busy printing trillions for pet projects, funding illegal immigration, and pushing woke nonsense down our throats. Larson says, this is an earned benefit, not an entitlement. Well, sure, people paid in. But guess who raided the trust fund for decades? Democrats and Republicans alike. They spent the money like drunk sailors and replaced it with IOUs. Now they want to blame conservatives for trying to fix it? Give me a break. Here's the hard truth they don't want you to hear. If we keep pretending Social Security is fine and keep expanding it without fixing it, it will collapse. No amount of speeches, no amount of fake outrage, no amount of tax hikes will change that. We either fix it or it dies. Period. And how about Larson's tax cuts? That's another scam. What they're proposing is to give small crumbs back to the working class while massively expanding benefits. Guess who's going to pay the difference? You. Your kids. Your grandkids. Higher taxes, lower growth, fewer opportunities. If Larson and his buddies really cared about the working class, they'd fight inflation, stop reckless spending, and stop printing money like it's monopoly cash. That's the #1 way to protect seniors. A strong, stable dollar, not bloated government checks that buy less every year. At Right View Nation, we believe in protecting Social Security the right way, by saving it, not expanding it to score votes. We believe in preserving American promises, not bankrupting future generations. And most of all, we believe that the American people, not Washington politicians, should control their destiny. Larson asked, what is there to be afraid of? I'll tell you, Congressman. We're afraid of a government that thinks it can spend and borrow and tax its way to prosperity. We're afraid of politicians more interested in their next election than the next generation. We're afraid of losing the America our parents and grandparents fought for. So here's my challenge to every patriot out there. Stand up. Speak out. Tell your congressman. Fix Social Security the right way. Protect our children's future. And if they won't listen, vote them out. It's time for a new generation of leaders who love this country more than they love their own careers. This is Right View Nation. Stay strong, stay free, and God bless the United States of America.